Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to In the Khud. This is 22nd April 2023, 6:27 p.m. And for a change, I'm recording early today because for once I'm gonna reach gym at 7:30 and come back home early. I don't know why I would want to do that all though, but primarily the reason that we're documenting today earlier is because today was a holiday, no full-time job stress, no nothing. So initially I had a bunch of things that I wanted to do. I woke up at 3:45 today. In the morning I did some changes to portfolio. 3D carousel looked cool, but all the Wix website interface only allows sliders having images and not clickable YouTube links. Then I did the LinkedIn account hibernation. So if you search on LinkedIn for my name now, you won't find it because I was kind of opening LinkedIn here and there. So I'm now apparently off Instagram, LinkedIn, both. Jan Sculpt's anatomy course seems very promising to learn character sculpting, but can wait a while for this because this month specifically has been extremely taxing on me in terms of the amount of money that I've spent. So I need to curb my spendings a bit online, not just buy every single course that I come across online. Then post, I had I wrote down a bunch of things that I wanted to do, like updating thumbnails, ITK thumbnail, Mogarts finalization. I think I did this. Then AE scripts, 3D phone, AE script, pop script to work on multiple text layers, modeling suit. I haven't done all of this because all my time was spent in this. AE script to zero out a layers position. Now, on the surface, this may seem like a pretty benign thing. Like, why would I spend so much time on this, like the entire day almost? But it is super powerful. I'm going to show you what this does. So let's not consider the parent situation first. This is an artwork, okay? I want to make a null for this artwork, kind of what void does, but I want to have that null exactly where this artwork layer is, and I want to zero out that null, meaning to say that the position of that null is 0, 0 and not the position like in the composition space. So I'm just going to come in here and click on the 0 button in my inthekhud script, and it doesn't work.
Bruh.
Parent undefined. We had an else, right? Else do nothing. Okay, that's embarrassing. Anyway, let's assume that this layer has a parent to it, okay? And this is the master parent which is controlling this here. Now I come in here, I select this and I say 0. Now what this does is it makes an artwork 2_control which has a position of 0, 0. So if I wanted to move this layer 10 pixels to the right, I can just do that, and 50 pixels down, I can just do that, 10, 50 or whatever pixels you want. That's the purpose of zeroing it out. And additionally, you still have this functionality where the original parent is still working. So I'm going to show you how that is done. First I'll show you manually what is happening here, and to sit and debug. The thing about coding and writing down scripts is majority of your time and effort goes into debugging scripts, which is I think the more kind of tedious and monotonous job. But you can still use alerts and have like flags at points where you think the flow is getting broken or something is happening wrong. Anyway, I'm going to show you how this script works primarily. So I'm going to come in here, and in this over here, let me see if I can show it without the parent functionality in this little thing that I've done here, and then the parent functionality I'll probably add it tomorrow or whenever, and then do that later. Okay, I have this layer selected. I come in here and press F5 to run the script. I have this position control here, which if I open this here, it is zeroed out and it's doing what I wanted to do. Okay, now I'll show you what the steps are over here. It's actually pretty simple. Add a null layer, don't send a anchor point, rename null, rename to layer control. So that is this artwork 2_control. I think I'll have to show you how it is actually working. It's not that complicated. See, this is the layer that I want to parent, right? So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to make a null. Now shift parent it here. That's what the steps are happening. Now once that is done, you unparent it. So now the position of that null is exactly where that our artwork is. Now we're gonna parent the artwork layer. This we're gonna parent it to this. Now this I'm gonna duplicate and call this 0. Okay. Now this I'm gonna select. It has the position currently of the artwork. So I'm gonna come in here and say shift. So shift parent. Yeah, shift parent it to 0. Now this becomes 0, 0. So now this is moving exactly how it should. Even this has become 0, but you usually don't want to affect the position of the artwork itself. You just keep it the way it is. Now it's very simple. You're just taking this and you're shying it, and you're locking it, and you're shying this thing. So that's your control. You can just do renaming and stuff. So I'm going to show you how that works. So if I go through the steps first, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, project is app project. Comp is project.activeItem. So comp is referring to the 0 comp, which is active right now. Artwork layer is a variable where we're storing the selected layer is 0. That's why you have to select a layer before you do anything. Then app.begin undo group. This is just so that with one undo I can get rid of everything that has happened in the script. Then variable control layer is create null. Create null is a function which is just returning app.project.activeItem.layers.add null. This adds a null layer. It's as same as alt control O. It's a custom shortcut, or you can say right click new null object. This is exactly what is happening with this create null function. So artwork layer dot parent equals null. I am firstly removing the parent here of the artwork if it has any, because that's a functionality for later. Then control layer is create null. Control layer dot name is artwork layer dot, can I word wrap this? Artwork layer dot name plus control. Then shift parent control layer artwork layer. This is one important thing that I learned. So in order to parent a layer in After Effects scripting, we do control layer dot parent is equal to artwork layer. But to shift parent, we do control layer dot set parent with jump artwork layer. This does not work. Set parent with jump is a function which is supposed to do this kind of a thing, shift equip and do this, but it does not work. So instead I used Dan Abbott's help on one of the forums for scripting, and he said we can just use a simple shift parent function which basically does this thing here, where child layer and parent layer are two parameters. You're going to enter it into the function when you're calling it. So child layer is property rotation dot set value, parent layer is property rotation, similarly for scale and for position, and then child layer dot parent is equal to parent layer. So once you do that, that is the same as doing shift equip. Okay, so what we've done now is shift parent control layer to the artwork layer. If you can recall the steps when I did it manually, that's what we're doing. Then artwork layer dot parent is control layer, then 0 layer is control layer duplicated, then shift parent control layer to 0 layer, and then we're renaming it 0, we're locking it, we're shying it, and with for the comp we're pressing this button, comp.hide child layers. That's how this is done. Now it's on the surface again, it seems like a very simple thing to do, but yeah, just being able to do it with a click of a button while retaining, this is not retaining the parent functionality, something I have to figure about. Now other than that, there is one amazing thing that I learned. So I am currently dealing with this problem where I don't have a proper speaker system, so I'm using a very, it's not bad, it's like an okay-ish Boat headphone with Bluetooth speaker, which is like very cheap actually, but the problem there is it's not very loud. So I came across this beautiful okay, so the credit due is here to videoconvertersfactory.com. There's this little code that if you paste in the console of your YouTube video, this video in particular, it's gonna boost the audio, which is amazing, right, if you think about it. So I want you to listen to how the volume right now is. My speaker volume is currently full, if you can hear it.
Albert Schweitzer once said, happiness is nothing but good health and a bad memory.
Okay, and even YouTube volume is full. Now you say F12 to open the console, and inside console you're going to take this code and just paste it, and over here gain node dot gain dot value, this is how many times you can increase it. So let's say I say 10 instead of 2, and I hit enter. So now
obviously good physical and mental health and ability to forget the negativities of our life constitute happiness. Mark Twain made a very interesting comment, He was a famous humorist. He said, my life is full of disasters which never happened.
So you see how much of a difference it makes. The only drawback I feel here is you have to come in here every single time to the console and somehow have this code ready, and then you paste it there and then it works. I think there might be a way where you can just put it in your console for Chrome forever, because basically I need for YouTube. There are some videos which are on very low volume, and like you saw the clear difference that this little code is doing.
The mind can create a hell out of heaven, a heaven out of hell.
This is as good as like having an amplifier. So yeah, this was one amazing other thing that I learned. And other than that, and one other important thing I wanted to talk about is in this video itself, Pravrajika Divyananda Pranaji, she talks about the levels of happiness, right? Happiness at the level of the senses, then happiness which comes from thinking about good things and good thoughts and kindness. Then the third stage is when happiness comes from, I think, flow state. That's what she says. So while I was making this script today for After Effects, every single time I've made an After Effects script, I've actually gone into the flow state where I don't have track of time. I'm so deeply involved in the process of figuring things out. So yeah, that was one thing. So now what are the functionalities these two Mogarts have for thumbnail? Of course, I can come in here and put the date like I showed yesterday. I can move the master date thing. I can change the color of it. Then I can change the individual position in between, like sometimes that is useful. Now, of course, I can change the images here, which will be scaled to fit, and I can change the orientation. Now there is this one button where I can just click it and me will go away, and there's another button which will remove the border and the me position scale. Quite a few amount of functionality added, exactly same for this. So that is what I have done today in the Khud, and not anything related to Blender or 3D, but that's alright, because the After Effects scripting and doing all this, like figuring all of this part out, is like the fun part for me now. That's what I enjoy doing. What I'm doing on the weekends, I'm having fun doing these things. Sounds kind of sad when I think out loud, but anyway, that's it for today's documentation. Thank you so much for being in the Khud. I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.